Hi there. I'm Andrew with LangWatch. I'm one of the lead engineers, and I've been working on the prompt management and versioning system. And today I'm going to show you how to integrate a two-way flow between LangWatch and LangFlow. So here we are in the optimization studio, and I'm going to start from scratch with a custom evaluator so you can kind of see how this might work. So if I create a new workflow with the custom evaluator, do let's say LangFlow example. It will create this studio setup for us. So we are pulling in the information from the database. We have an LLM cognitive bias detection, and then we're going to check the exact match. So here is the evaluation flow. So if I run evaluate here, it will run through this evaluation and give us our results as we might expect. But here, if we click on this, we have our specialized LLM prompt configuration here. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to try to move this over into LangFlow. So if I move this kind of up and out of the way, what we're going to do, we have here the all the configuration that we have here. And if we click here, we can see that we have a curl to get this prompt configuration. So if I copy this, I'm going to jump into LangFlow. So I have this as a local instance tunneling in through. So this is LangFlow, as you might be familiar. There are a lot of steps to deal with the JSON and the different shapes to go in and out of the system, but the connecting is pretty straightforward, and you can probably have a much more complicated or a much simpler flow. But this is kind of showing how the data kind of moves through from one point to the next. So here we have the API request. This is going to make our call to LangWatch, parses the JSON, and then the stringifies it into standard system message here. This is what we're going to use for the prompt here. And this passes it then through the structured output that we would be expecting, which then passes through the parser and then finalizes it here into the text output. So if we go back over here, we can see we are expecting an input and then an output for reasoning and past. And then that is going to pass us the past Boolean is what we're going to expect for this output here. And we're going to be comparing this on the evaluation. So here, since this is already connected, like I had said, we can grab this curl and we jump in here. And this is just a regular API request. So normally you would just pull this here from the API request, drop that in, and this is going to give you the option to fill in the different information for the API request, but it's actually much simpler to just use curl. And right here, we can actually just drop this in. And then this is already ready to go. So this is exactly the same right here, like this, right? And that shows that it is connected. And so the shape that it's going to come in, we're going to need to parse that and grab the result. We're going to get so the result is going to be the full configuration. And then this is going to be the prompt off of that configuration. So if I do a quick run here just for this step, and I open this up, you can see we actually get the full configuration for the prompt that is coming from LangWatch. And what we're grabbing again is just the prompt here. So if I were to look at this here and run this step, you'd be able to see the full text of the prompt. So you are a specialized LLM judge, etc. Here, then we are then kind of parsing this through to be able to go to our actual OpenAI call. And so you would have whatever kind of LLM system or configuration that you have running in LangFlow. This is all pretty standard. If you click on the JSON mode for this particular setup, it's going to require that the messages actually say that you want the output in JSON, or it'll throw an error. So we're leaving that off because we want this to be the straight prompt that we're expecting from LangWatch. But we're still going to need to structure the output for the response. So this is structured output response here, and that is available here. So you have the structured output here, and you would connect the language model and then you would connect the messages here. And so if we take a look inside the output schema, we are just saying, okay, we want a reasoning output and we want a passed Boolean. And that's basically it here. And so this is going to parse the output and give us the desired output that we are looking for. And so over here we have the parser. This is again going to stringify it and then pass it over as a string to the final output. And so here, if you go to publish, now we have the API access. So here, this is giving you the Python code. This is the code that you're going to use for dropping everything into the LangWatch Studio. So normally I would copy this, and we jump over into the LangWatch Studio. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be disconnecting this LLM node that's just in LangWatch, and we're going to be using our LangFlow. So here, change this, LangFlow API here. And then if we go into here, what we would do is we would want to drop in our API, the code from LangFlow. But this needs to be a little bit more specialized because it needs to be wrapped inside the code call. And you need to then parse the JSON a little bit differently. And so here you're going to be getting the question is going to be the input value. You're going to get the response, and then you're going to parse the response and then return that as the shape that you're looking for. So I've gone ahead and kind of taken care of all of that, kind of speed things along a little bit, but as you can see, we're going to need to parse the JSON. This is all basically the same that was copied and pasted from the LangFlow API example. You can see the question is being passed in as the input value, and then here we are returning the results. So the response from the API call is rather complicated with a lot of additional information, but here is how you would be able to get the JSON. And so you actually have two JSONs. We have a JSON that needs to be parsed right off from the message. And then once we get the actual message, the message itself is a JSON response. So that needs to also be parsed, and then we get the results here. So if I save this here, now we have this example. Again, you can see this is the code, but we're going to need to update the way that we are handling the responses. So this is reasoning that we're expecting, and we are also expecting here passed, and passed I believe is the Boolean. So here, this is the input again. It was checking to see if there was bias, but let's say chicken is food, for example. So if I run this, hopefully, you can see that we got the result back. So this is the response again from LangFlow. So this is going through the entire LangFlow process, and it is returning our reasoning as a string and the passed as a Boolean. So this is great. This is what we wanted to see. So now we have this node fully set up. And so what we want to do is now replace the inputs and the outputs with our new node here. So I'll connect the answer to the question. The reasoning is going to the details. As we can see, it's coming from here. It's the same flow. I'm sorry, I need to disconnect this one here. So the reasoning is replacing the details here. And then I'm going to disconnect this one here. So the past is going to be here. And then, as we can see, also the past is connecting to the output here. So the past here is connected. So this is now a disconnected node, but we can see we've replaced it with the LangFlow implementation. So again, the LangFlow here has access to this same prompt via our API. So LangFlow is calling our API to get the prompt from our prompt manager, and then LangFlow is being called from within the studio. And so now hopefully when I run evaluate, it's going to ask me to save my workflow. It's going to be able to run through our studio, through our LangFlow implementation, and we should get something very similar to the original run. And as you can see, true, true, false, there's no errors, everything is running correctly, and we can see the LangFlow API. We're getting the reasoning and the past results, and it is comparing these for an exact match. So that concludes the little demonstration. I hope that is pretty clear. Feel free to follow up or reach out if you have any sort of questions about the implementation, and good luck.